Hey y'all, it's Betsy from Cuttin Corners Vinyl in Nederland, Texas, and today we have a fun tutorial for you. We are doing our Patreon box for March. So if you are a $45 a month more supporter on Patreon, you will get all the vinyl and the bag to be able to do this project yourself. If you're a $4 a month Patreon supporter, you get the file. Now, for this Easter kit, and we changed, just so you know, we changed how we were labeling the Patreon SVGs and Patreon kits because it was a little confusing. So each month, like the month before in February, it says March SVG, and then the kit gets shipped out at the 1st of March. Just so you know, so you kind of understand how it all works. Now, for this tutorial, you're going to need 4 shades of vinyl, which we're using the Thermaflex Plus Mint Green, Coral, Medium Blue, and then we are using the new Chameleon, Brilliant Chameleon in Violet. Doesn't that look pretty together? And this is the shirt I made with the Brilliant Chameleon, and this has been washed. It still looks absolutely beautiful, and they are up on our website now, and we have it where you can purchase a bundle and it's like getting 1 sheet of it for free. So you're gonna need those 4 colors in vinyl, your Teflon sheet, your t-shirt guide, and we're putting this design on the canvas tote, but there is enough vinyl included with the kit where you can make a shirt as well with it. So just so you know. And you're gonna need your Easy Weeding wooden pick and your scissors. Now, the press is preheated to 330 degrees for 15 seconds. So if you'll give me a moment to get the camera angle changed, I will show you everything that we are doing today. Okay, so as you can see, we are on the Patreon page, so I'm going to show you how to get the file. So the first thing you're going to do is, as you go to www.patreon.com/BetsyGocher, you're going to click on the post link, and then we're going to scroll down to where it says So Excited Y'all, the March SVG. We're going to go ahead and click on the orange link. There we go. And we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now, we're going to go ahead and go to our Cricut design space, and we're going to click Upload. It may take a second. Go to Upload Image and Browse. There we go. Now, we are in our Downloads folder, so we're going to scroll down to the bottom and click on the So Excited SVG. Click Open. Isn't that adorable? And now we're going to go ahead and click Save. Now, for this file, we're going to go ahead and insert the image. This is a 4-color design, and there's enough vinyl included with the kit to be able to make 2 of them, just so you know. So the first thing that I want to go ahead and do is I'm going to take the biggest section, which is the coral color, and we're going to go ahead and weld all those pieces together, so that way it keeps that color together. Now, I see that it does waste material, but I like to do it this way, so that way when I go to actually cut it, it makes it a lot easier to line it up. Now, for the green, we're going to go ahead and ungroup all of this. And the main thing that we want to go ahead and do is take like our green pieces, ungroup again. Okay, so these 3 pieces of green, we want to go ahead and weld. Same thing with these 3 pieces of green, we want to weld. And this piece of green, we don't have to worry about. Now, for the word excited, we want to weld together the letters so that way it keeps their place. But we don't have to worry about welding together the word with the egg. I do like to keep the placement together So we're going to go ahead and select both of the wiggly lines for the egg right there. Now we want to go ahead and select the excited word right there and click weld. So now all of the outline is together. So as you can see, I'm making it where we're not going to waste as much material, but it keeps things together to make it simpler when you're lining it up. Okay, so now that is done. And last but not least, we're going to weld these purple dots for this egg down here together. Click weld. Now we're going to go ahead and click on make it. And we're going to go ahead and mirror our images. So now everything is ready to cut. Now with this purple layer, which is what we're using the Chameleon Violet for, because it is a foil type vinyl, you're going to want to use your glitter iron-on settings. Now, when we go to cut the other three, we will change that back to regular HTV, just to iron-on vinyl, just so you know, because if you cut the regular iron-on, these three colors, the medium blue, the mint green, and the coral, you will probably cut through your vinyl, just to give you a heads up. Now, if you'll give me a moment to get the camera angle changed, I will show you everything that we are going to do today. Okay, so we've got our Chameleon vinyl, and what I'm doing is just laying it out on my Cricut mat just like I always do. There we go. And it's still set on the computer, as you can see, to glitter iron-on. We're going to load it into the Cricut machine and send it to cut. Now, if you have like an Explorer 1 or an Explorer 2, typically glitter iron-on is the spot above the dot above where it says iron-on. And for your Brother Scan and Cut and your Silhouette, it's typically a 3 or 4. Depending on how sharp your blade is. But you can see how it's cutting. And part of the reason why, and I typically don't always show the cutting part because, I mean, most of you have seen it done before, for this is because I wanted to make sure you saw what I was going to do to be able to switch the materials out. Because I don't want to cut the regular iron-on with the glitter setting. So, but we gotta wait till that's finished cutting, and that is at 17%. And I gotta take all my rings off. We save all these to re-roll vinyl because I don't like to waste. But let's go ahead, while that's cutting, we're gonna go ahead and walk over here and grab my scissors and my pick, so that way while it's cutting I can take and weed the vinyl when we're sending another color to cut. So as you can see, it's at 40-50% now, so it's almost done. And I like to definitely keep a close eye on my cut to make sure it feels like it is cutting it deep enough. And I use, in my machine, because I go through so many blades, I typically keep a deep cut blade in my machine. They seem to last a little longer. And for me, which I cut pretty much all day, every day, I typically go through a blade a week, in case anybody's wondering. But I actually order my blades off of Amazon. These are like $10, I think, for 10 of them. So it's not a bad deal. It's a lot cheaper than buying the actual Cricut blade brand, and they work. You just got to look for Cricut blades on Amazon. Okay, So now I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay, now what I'm going to go ahead and do is now change that to iron on for the rest. As you can see, it's that simple. And I get asked all the time about mats. Okay, so for me, I get this from our screen printing supply. This is a adhesive mist. You can buy this, not this brand, but you can buy adhesive mist at Hobby Lobby in the sewing section. And I use that to re-sticky my mats, because I want to use them for as long as possible. Mats aren't cheap. And I have not found a replacement mat so far, in my opinion, that is as good as the Cricut mat. So right now what I'm going to go ahead and do is trim off the excess vinyl. Now don't forget to enter into the scrap box drawings. There's one on the 1st for Patreon and one on the 4th for my regular subscribers, because all of these leftover pieces of vinyl end up in the kit. So as you can see, whenever you have your blades set at the proper depth, this stuff is really easy to weed. So now we got to go through and remove all the centers. I end up with pieces of vinyl all over my office. Now, I'm not sure about y'all, but I do. Okay, so now the coral piece is cut. So we're gonna go ahead and switch it out for the mint green. There we go. Again, just smooth it on there. Load and cut. Now again, this is already set for iron on because we changed it earlier. So let's go ahead and finish weeding the foil. I really am so in love with all these colors. There's something so unique about them. And it comes in 6 different colors. This one was my favorite for this job because it had all the colors that we were using, and it reminded me a whole lot of Easter. So now that one is cut. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and send the medium blue. And then we'll go to our regular weeding table and weed and cut down the rest of it. But to save on time, a lot of times when I'm cutting stuff, I weed right here. So that way I'm not just sitting there doing nothing, if that makes sense. Like if I am working on a job, I want to continue working on a job. Okay. There we go. So now I'm going to trim it apart into the little sections. And you can see, like on the eggs, when you're trimming them apart, you can kind of see the shape of the eggs with the dots. Okay. now we can remove the medium blue color. There we go. Lay that up here. Grab our vinyl, all of our pieces. But when we stick this, we're going to stick all three of the regular colors first and save the foil for last. Okay, so we're going to set that piece out of the way. And now what I'm going to go ahead and do, and it may not be the easiest to see whenever y'all are looking at it, but whenever I have the light on here, I can see my lines. So it makes it easier for me to trim around, so there is not as much waste. Now there still is quite a bit. But all these pieces can be reused. But as you can see, I left enough of the vinyl there where I can see how it's supposed to lay out on the bag. I almost said shirt, because I typically do shirts. And I figured this would be something absolutely adorable you could make for yourself, or you could make it for your children as an Easter egg hunting bag. Ow, I just stabbed myself with the plastic right under the fingernail. Okie dokie. Let's see, there's a dot in there. And now our coral part is weeded. Now on to our green layer. Let's see. Oh, right up at the top. There's not a whole lot to the green layer. So it's not super complicated. Go ahead and cut these apart. There we go. There's still one more little dot in here. There we go. So now that is all separated, and last but not least, the medium blue color. And sometimes, like, I don't know, for me it is odd on what they decide to name some of these colors, because to me this isn't a medium blue, and that is definitely not a minty green. That is more limey, I guess. But, you know, I don't choose the color names. There we go. And again, this would make an adorable shirt, like on a white, would be so cute. You know, I used to shy away from white shirts. Now, if you've got the right color vinyl, they look so good. Okay, now, what we're gonna go ahead and do is go over to the heat press, lay out our bag with the straps off. Well, actually, I'm going to lay them on there for now, and then I'll move them off. We're going to grab our t-shirt guide. There we go. And as you can see, it is centered on to the bag. Now I'm going to grab the Sew and Y'all layer and match it up. So actually, that lines up pretty well with the center. And I think I want to start it about there. I think that gives a pretty good, pretty even distance across the bag. Looks a little off. There we go. And sometimes it is all about eyeballing. Okay, so right there, the guide covers a little bit on that side, so we're pretty centered. Grab my Teflon sheet. And again, when we're doing multiple layers like this, we don't do a full pressing. It's set to 330 degrees. We're gonna heat for about 5 to 7 seconds, just long enough to get it to tack on, but not where it will change the shape of the vinyl. Okie dokie. So what I am doing right now is so that way I can get an idea of my center. I'm laying the foil on top of the blue, but I'm not sticking the foil layer yet. Okay. That's going to be pretty close. Leave that over here. And we can grab some of these pieces. And place them. And as you can see, my plastic is not underneath my letters or my design. There we go. So I can take and stick all of these pieces at one time. And then we can do, last but not least, all of the chameleon violet. Okay. Oh, I did get a little bit. Hold on. Okay, so if you see, I did get the plastic under right there. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, and part of the reason why I don't mind cutting this out is I want y'all to see how I fix it. So I'm slowly pulling the vinyl off of that clear plastic. And now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna take, kind of smooth it down, cover it, and we're gonna reheat that so it lays down. Because it did stretch a little bit. But because this is on a bag, it is not that big of a deal if it's got a tiny little wrinkle in it. Okay. But as you can see the wrinkle a little bit, but it's not enough of a problem where you would want to throw the design away and start over. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is grab our scissors. Trim a little bit closer on the plastic. So as you can see, lay that out. And what I'm going to go ahead and do is trim that plastic close to that as I can. So there you go. So that way, when I lay these other pieces on, there's no plastic underneath. There we go. There we go. There we go. So now everything is on. Now we're going to go ahead and cover. Pull our straps off again, because that will, if these are under it, it adds bulk, and sometimes your vinyl will not adhere properly. So now we're going to heat it for the full 15 seconds. And then we're going to remove the plastic and heat it again for 15 seconds. I don't preach about preheating, but I do preach about always doing a final pressing layer. Look how cute that is already. Cover, adorable. Okay, 15 seconds and then it's gonna be done. Now remember, at this point, the file is only available for patrons. So if you want the file, you have to be a $4 or more a month patron. And you can join, get the file, and cancel. You don't have to keep supporting us, but we love it when you do. But look how beautiful that is. And you can't even see where, unless you actually really get up on it, where that little mistake was. But now remember, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. And if you hit the notification bell icon, that will notify you when I post new videos. Comment down below. The more interactive you are with our channel, the more you'll actually see our videos. And we post new videos Monday through Friday. Now, check us out on all of our social media: Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter, Instagram. I have a hair in my mouth. Sorry. Anyways. So all of our social media, as well as my second channel, which is just Betsy Gocher. I do makeup, Disney videos, crafting for Disney, planning for Disney. All my keto and CrossFit updates are on there. But I guess that's it. So we'll see you on the next one. Bye.